let's go to the Washington Commanders. We're going to go to Jayden Daniels, the number 2 pick. They picked Jayden Daniels. There was like a little bit debate of whether or not that was actually going to happen there, late in the draft or yeah.
Sure.
Well, people were saying it.
We're not sure. And come on. Of course, it's just amazing. If we don't have a story, let's create it. I heard, I heard from a reliable source that they might be going and thinking Drake May, or it's this. It was always, and really, I'm being honest. It's like creating stories for TV. That's what it is. It's amazing. Well, whatever. I get tired of it. But if they wouldn't have taken Jayden Daniels, then somebody's head should have rolled. I'm being brutal here.
It's really it's a great pick. It's hard. It's hard to say no to a player like that. What he's going to do too for, I feel like, the team immediately with his athleticism, he's going to put a ton of just pressure on defense to decide, how are we going to defend his athleticism? Are we going to play zone? Are we going to play man? Are we going to pressure him? Are we going to do this? And I feel like the more that teams kind of have to go out of their way in preparation for him, the easier it will be for him, and the offensive coordinator and just the identity of the football team in creating situations for him to be successful sooner, right? And then also, too, for him to just kind of say F the coaching and just play ball and be a great athlete, and that's really, he's going to do that. So I think that's something that's really exciting for him too, is that every now and then he's just going to play ball and he's going to outrun a few people and run for 30, 40, 50 yards and make up, big plays like that while still being, I think, a super polished passer compared to some other quarterbacks that we've seen with similar attributes to him, like a Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson. Even though we thought Lamar was a more polished passer than what people gave him credit for, I think Jayden Daniels is exponentially more polished than Justin Fields and ready to go for the NFL level as a thrower.
Yeah, a couple of things. I love listening to Brian Kelly on TV with Nick Saban talking about Jayden Daniels, how he just, everything you'd want in your pro quarterback, he was doing in college. And that's, getting there early, teaching everybody, knowing everything, being in charge of the offense on the field. And listen, I'm really excited to see his running and how he is it going to be as dynamic as we saw in college? Because it could be. And I think the one thing I've learned doing this more this year probably than ever, watching all these college quarterbacks, and most of them have the ability to run a little or a lot, is they understand when it's man coverage and if it's not clear and you just feel the gap, you know what I mean by the gap between the guard and the tackle. If there's a couple yards, just shoot through it, then look to throw or run. And I think, Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, so many of these guys were tremendous at that. Tremendous. I mean, it was instinct. Drake May, I saw it a lot too. But my last thing with Jayden Daniels is I like everything about him. Good processor. That's what Brian Kelly talked about. Man, he can find 1, 2, 3, and then if it's not there, he can still find the fourth guy sometimes, which I know is overstated sometimes, but it was true with him. And I think that's going to be great. But the last thing that I worry about, his arm. It's good.
Right.
It's solid, but it's not even in the realm, I think, of special. And if it's going to be special, it's going to be because he has great accuracy and timing and stuff like that. Because I watched a lot, and you did too. He makes some good throws from the right hash to the left sideline. But I don't know.
Does he have a better arm than Bryce Young?
I would say it's kind of right in there. Maybe a little stronger than Bryce's as far as trying to throw the ball.
That's my thing. It's like
well, I'm not worried. I'm anxious
but it's
to
just
see.
Like we just handed Bryce the first pick because of all the intangibles of the touch and the anticipation. It's like, all right, well, Jayden Daniels is bigger, faster, stronger, more athletic, and he's got a stronger arm. So it's like I'm not really worried about it. The one thing that I am thinking about for him as being something he's got to improve upon, right? Or we have to be cognizant of as viewers is, Washington, that's not the greatest weather type of place to play late in the year. A lot of rain games, a lot of sloppy games, I feel like, especially late in the year, in that area. So I'll be curious to see kind of how he handles those type of football games and still being a dynamic passer. That's something we saw Brock Purdy struggle with.
Right.
If it rains, the San Francisco 49ers passing game is in question. And that's something that I feel like they really had to manage in a few
Yeah.
of those games. So that'll be something that, for him as a player, he's going to have to develop, that ability to be a great passer in those environments, especially when they're home, if they're hoping to play, home playoff games late in the year when it matters the most.
I got to tell you the truth. Playing for the
Yeah.
Giants all those years, I looked going to Washington like I
Yeah,
was
but
going
that's
to
also
Florida.
because like you played in just the most unbelievable stadium in the world of Giants,
No,
the
but
old Giant Stadium, the OG stadium.
it yeah, I know, but it's still I never played in bad weather down there. And of course, it always, this is terrible, but not terrible. I look at the schedule and going, oh my God. And I looked at a couple things. When do we go to warm weather and what
Right.
fields have grass? Because, when you played on that grass down there in LA or whatever, it didn't matter what kind of beating you took. You didn't
Right.
hurt the next day
Yeah.
because it's grass. And of course, man, Matt, you didn't get the opportunity to go to RFK,
Yeah.
but it was special. There's a reason why I think every year all the players do those, ballots and what is your favorite stadium?
Right.
RFK. It shook, the hogs, the grass, the atmosphere. So Jayden Daniels, you're doing okay down there in
All right. I
Washington.
like it.
So
I like it.